Hello, Star Wars fans. We're coming to you from the furthest reaches of a galaxy far, far away. Welcome to the Outer Rim Podcast, a show from a dad and daughter duo that's looking to explore the characters, lore, and stories from our beloved Star Wars. I'm Matt here with my daughter Madeline, and today we're reviewing the first 6 episodes of Maul Shadow Lord. Help grow our show by following us on Apple and Spotify, subscribing on YouTube, and finding us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter. We're glad you've joined us, and as always, may the Force be with you. Oh, Madeline, we did it. We started this Star Wars podcast that we have talked about for so long doing. We both love Star Wars, and you have loved Star Wars your whole life, as I have too. So, Madeline, to our millions of followers and listeners out there in the Star Wars universe, what do you want to say to all the people out there?
That's a good question. Hi. Very excited to finally be starting this podcast because I've been dreaming of starting a Star Wars podcast with my dad for a long time, and now we finally get to start it. So
we do. This is one of, I just want to tell you this up top, this is one of like the best moments of my life, because when you have kids, you're like, OMG, I love them so much, and you bring them home and all the things. And then in the back of my head the whole time I've been like, oh, I can't wait till she's old enough to like have real conversations with. And here we are.
Oh, yeah. Having
real conversations, publishing them on the internet. Madeline, before we dive into to Maul Shadow Lord, why don't you tell us, what is your origin story with Star Wars? How did you come to the franchise? It's probably my fault, but what's going on with you in Star Wars?
Okay, well, I don't remember exactly how old I was, but I think you actually got me started on Star Wars. I remember
as any good dad should, you know.
Obviously. I remember watching Star Wars, and at first, which is actually kind of ironic, I didn't like it very much. I was just like, eh.
What?
And then I think I watched the prequel movies, like 1, 2, and 3, and I was like,
you
okay,
are a prequel girl. You are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was it, huh?
So,
tell the listeners out there approximately how many times you have seen the animated series Clone Wars from front to back.
Probably 12 or 13 times all the way through.
The girl is just, I don't know how all the fans feel out there, but the girl is just a prequel nut. She loves them. That is hashtag her Star Wars. She's at the right age for it, you know?
Yep.
Okay.
And I just rewatch movies and shows like a crazy person, so.
At least she's doing it with Star Wars. There are worse things out there, listeners. There are worse things.
Yep.
Okay. So, Madeline, we're going to dive in, and we're going to attempt to kind of paint with a broad brushstroke today, a little Bob Ross action, if you will. And we're just going to broad brushstroke some happy trees and try to cover kind of the first 6 episodes of Maul Shadow Lord. Then our plan is every Tuesday night we'll be releasing these episodes weekly, so you can count on those, listeners, and we'll go 2 by 2 through the last remaining 2 weeks of the episodes, and that will take us right up to The Mandalorian and Grogu, which we're very excited to go see in the theaters. So, Madeline, just tell me, broad brushstrokes, how did you feel about the first 6 episodes of Maul Shadow Lord?
I mean, I did like it.
I hear hesitation.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Okay. I liked the way it was done. I liked the characters and all the things, but it's not really worth rewatching 12 or 13 times.
Wow. Okay, what's really holding it back for you? We'll dive into it, but just top level, what's holding you back?
I don't know. It's just like the plot is just kind of like all over the place. There's like, I don't know.
I'm going to say
not
this.
Not really in like the time frame I really like. It's a little bit after.
Yeah, let's put us in the BBYs and the ABYs. We are firmly in the Empire here. So Maul has already fought Kenobi. He's fallen down the nuclear shaft. He's gone through the trash compactor. He's got the spider legs. We're here with 2 legs now. So Palpatine's in control of the universe. So we're right in that. We're right in that place in time. And I do want to say this. I think that you take a while sometimes to warm up to things. And it takes you a minute. You just have that like, ew, I'm not actually sure about this. No. And then like 2 months later, I'll go up to your room and you're like, yeah, it's the 5th time I've watched Maul today. You know, just kind of one of those things. I think that's the kind of fan that you are.
Yeah.
Let me say, though, I am enjoying this. This is really taking me back to like watching Clone Wars with you and your sister, watching Rebels, I truly think that animated Star Wars is some of the best Star Wars that there is. And I think that this, for me anyway, that the legacy of this just goes right in with those other things. Maybe I'm basic too, but I like having Jedi in Star Wars. I like when they fire up a lightsaber. I like when there's a duel and a clash. So I appreciate like all the underworld, the pikes, I like that kind of stuff about Star Wars. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But I think I'm glad that it's not just that. I'm glad that there are Jedi. I'm glad that Maul is just slicing dudes up with his double-bladed lightsaber. I do like that part of it. What do you think about like shows and movies and Star Wars stuff not having Jedi versus having them?
I mean, it doesn't it's not, my gosh, it's not that it like isn't the same if there's no Jedi versus there is Jedi, but like I feel like it feels more like Star Wars and it has more of that like mystical aspect that kind of draws you in when they like use the Force and turn on the lightsaber and just like all the things that they do. I feel like that part just feels more like Star Wars than like versus not having Jedi.
Okay, so you don't have to have it, but you do like it when they provide it.
Yeah.
Because I think there are seasons of The Mandalorian that we loved, and there's really not much mysticism, not many right? There is at some points in The Mandalorian, but early on there's really not. We loved that show. A lot of it had to do with Baby Yoda and him just being cute as all get out, but that's just kind of how that goes. Okay, so listeners, to set the stage for you, we're going to assume that you've seen the first 6 episodes of Maul, but that's a sweeping amount of the season that we were a little late to the game here on the Maul show. So I'm going to try to summarize this for us, and then Madeline is going to give me a grade at the end of this. So I'm a high school teacher. Madeline is a freshman. She sits in my classes. So we're going to turn the tables here and let her grade me and see how I did. Okay, so here's the summary, listeners. Here goes. Maul is seeking revenge on former underling bros, including a very talkative, high-energy one. He starts with a bank heist that speeds by a Jedi Master and his Padawan. The heist also pulls in Captain Lawson and his shady, underfunded police force on Janix. Clashes between the crime lords ensue while Maul absolutely destroys them on a couple of fights. Devon, the Jedi Padawan, is arrested by the police for lack of papers. Hashtag current events. And is taken by Maul in a prison heist to break out Vario, Maul's old lieutenant. Devon and Maul have a few mind-bending discussions that plant doubts in her head about her path as a Jedi. She escapes, and after a duel with Maul and she has tea with Maul too, has a duel, right? Escapes there, and then Lawson doesn't want the Imperials to be involved and asks for a strike team to track down Maul. By this point, Devon and her master are reunited. They team up with Lawson by kind of tricking him just a little bit. Lawson's raid ends in a defeat for the very complicated, at this point, good guys. The Empire shows up, bringing green gas guy Maruk with them. They declare martial law, questioning Lawson before he returns home, only to realize that his athlete son has taken the Jedi Master and the Padawan into their home. Imperials then raid the Lawson home to close out what we have watched so far in Season 1, which leads to a chase through Janix and a fight between Devon and the Inquisitor, where she is saved by... Maul. Okay, Mads, that was my summary. I didn't try to hit every point, but I tried to summarize for our listeners where we've been so far. So give me a grade.
That was solid A. That was good.
Solid A.
That was good.
Okay.
I like the fact that you called the crime syndicate people the underworld bros. That was great.
What kind of energy do we think Vario has? He's got something to him. He's like one of those little Chihuahua dogs that just yips all the time. That you want to kind of kick across. From. Just kidding, dog people. You don't kick dogs. I'm just saying. It's a little annoying, yes?
Well, you might kick a dog. Kidding.
Oh. Don't get PETA out after us. Stop it. Do we like Vario? Do we like that energy he's bringing?
Yeah, but I also feel like he's a little too much. Like, okay.
Little too much. Okay, listeners, we're going to hop in and start to talk about the characters, the philosophy, a lot of things in these episodes. But as we are a brand new podcast, we do want to remind you, to subscribe on Apple and Spotify podcasts and on YouTube if you're watching there. This is the only Star Wars podcast I know of that is going to get his dad and his 14-year-old daughter in your ears every week. So please hit subscribe and Help us grow this show. All right, so Madeline, we need to talk about the main characters of the Maul season so far, and I have identified 4 of them that I think are main characters that we need to talk about. And some of these people truly have main character energy. You know, they just think the whole thing is about them, and that is that. So let's start with Maul himself, the titular villain, complicated of the show. Go ahead.
I'd say he's like the main character because the show is literally named after him. He does kind of give main character energy though.
He does.
He
give
just
main
like
character
walks
energy.
around and he has just this like completely stone cold look on his face. He's just like, yeah, I'm cooler than all these people here.
But he is kind of cooler than all the people there, isn't he?
He is. He is.
Maul is one of those
but,
bad guys that you kind of like rooting for because he's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so what is a character trait from Maul that you have seen on display in these episodes that you just want to call out, dive into? Tell us about it.
So, if you've been watching Star Wars for a while, you know that Maul is kind of just like a mean and cold and dark character. But I did notice that whenever he took Devon captive, and was like having a little tea party with her, which was so random.
Oh, we'll talk about the tea
party. But whenever he like took her in, he was like asking her about her injury and was like making sure she's okay, and it just kind of brought out like the softer side of him, and I was like, that's kind of adorable. Like, oh, it's cute.
You heard it here first on this podcast. Darth Maul's adorable. Is it the horns you like? Is that the adorable part?
Do what?
Is it the horns that you like? Is that the adorable part of Maul?
That's more like the scary part.
Okay.
But I think he was just like, let me see your injury, make sure you're healing okay. It's like, oh.
So you like this complicated side of Maul. You kind of like it.
Yeah. I like how he has like 2 different sides. How he has like the dark and mean and scary side, and then he also has a side that like no one gets to see. That's like actually cares about people. It's cute.
That's kind of what I wrote down too. I wrote down his complicated nature, and I love when they do this with villains because it is so easy. Let me tell you this too. The Dave Filoni and the team behind animated Star Wars, they are so good at making the Imperial officers just be the biggest piece of trash walking on the face of planet. I was about to say planet Earth, but what I meant, of course, is Janix, right?
Whatever planet they're on.
Whatever planet they're on. It's so easy to hate those guys. I don't think that's a very good villain. A good villain has like shades of things that you can see in yourself. So I'm going to tell you this. There's parts of Maul that remind me of my boy Admiral Thrawn.
I already knew he was going to get... I already knew he was going to get brought up. I already knew.
Well, here's how I kind of see it. Like, Thrawn does the art thing from the world. Mm-hmm. And even you who, for whatever reason, you don't really like Thrawn very much, but I love him. That part of Thrawn, you have to be a little bit at least like, okay, what a smart man, that kind of thing. Yeah. That's Maul with the T, right? There's some sophistication to him. I think that's what that is in there for. He's having these conversations, and he's not all doom and gloom and force lightning and chopping guys up. Like, there's a purpose behind what he's doing. The purpose isn't always good. Well, let me say it this way. The purpose is often always bad, but there's some thought behind it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I really do like that complicated nature of Maul. And I think we should end here, at least as far as the Maul portion of the character. They whiffed so bad on live action Maul.
They did. They really did.
He is so interesting in the animated stuff, and he is just literally there to glower and get chopped in half. He has
literally, I think, like 2 lines in the first movie, and he's literally just there to get chopped in half. Like, literally.
Hello there.
He just like stands there like,
and just
like,
takes it.
Just complete silence, and then just like dies.
Poor Qui-Gon.
Rest in peace, Qui-Gon.
Rest in peace, my guy. All right, let's turn our attention to the Jedi Padawan Devon. Devon, as far as I can tell, is not someone that we have seen before in any other Star Wars properties. So she's brand new. She clearly has a backstory in this, and you start to get it kind of like in pieces, so we don't know exactly what's going on with her. What is it character-wise that stands out to you the most about Devon so far?
So I noticed that whenever she was with and around Maul more often, she started, like, I don't really want to say turning to the dark side, but, like, having a little bit more of, like, the evil side come out in her, because normally whenever Jedi will, like, attack people, they won't just like willingly kill them unless they absolutely have to, and Devon was just like chopping down those poor stormtroopers.
Well, that's what the
She's-
stormtroopers are for. They're to be chopped, you know.
I know,
Yeah.
but normally Jedi wouldn't do something like that. So I may be wrong, but I think it was like the time she spent around Maul that made her have more of the dark side part in her.
Mm. See, that's kind of what stood out to me about her too, is she has that complicated past. They clearly, her and her master, who is, am I wrong here? That's also her uncle? Is that what you understood too?
I think he might have just been saying that as their cover story.
Oh, okay. Wow, I'm an idiot. Thank you.
You're welcome. Because she's a Twi'lek and he's some lizard Trandoshan, maybe? Like,
You know, I could not feel more stupid right now, and you really have done a great job right now. Congratulations to you.
you're
So
welcome.
it's clear though that they have struggled for a long time, and I read it less as in like she is evil and more as in she has struggled her whole life. And she has these powers and she has these abilities that she can't use to make her own life better. And I think her master lived at a time where he understands why they do the things that they did. She doesn't understand that as well. And so when Maul starts saying stuff to her like, you're powerful, but you're disrespected, or you're not living the life you could be. I think that really hits with her because she looks around. She's like, "You're right. I am not living the life I could be," and that seems kind of crazy to her because that's the only life she's ever known. I also think they've done a great job with her, kind of giving her that backstory. You know?
Yeah.
All right, tell us about maybe the greatest named character in the history of Star Wars, Master Daki. What is going on? What do you see, or what do you like about him?
You
don't.
Like, you can definitely tell he's like one of those like older Jedi in like Yoda's time based on the way he like views the right and the wrong, because I'm pretty sure in the first episode when Devon was looking at that fruit stand, he was like, "No, we don't steal. Like, we should not be stealing, even if
She's
that's
like,
the only
"Master,
way
I'm
we
over
can
here
get
starving,
food."
bro.
She's like, "Please, I need some food," and he's just like, "We don't steal. Don't do that." So,
Okay,
I mean,
do you like that about him, or is that like a sticking point for you?
I think it's a good alternative to Devon. Like, I think they kind of like balance each other out because he knows, like you said, he knows his purpose as a Jedi. He knows what he's supposed to be doing. Devon hasn't been a Jedi for very long. I don't really even know if she is technically a Jedi Knight. She might still be
Are
a
there any
Padawan.
Jedi, right? The order's not there anymore. Just this whole thing is weird, right?
Yeah, so I don't know. I think they just kind of like balance each other out, with him being super rooted in the Jedi way and her being more a little like not super,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Yeah.
Not rooted in it in the same way that he is. Yeah. So I think we should just take a second here and shout out the voice actor for Daki, Dennis Haysbert. You probably don't know that name, but he is a legendary voice actor. He does the Allstate commercials where it's like, "You're in good hands with Allstate." And he started talking. I was like, "Oh, this guy. Let's get this guy like a 20-minute speech. I can just let him go to town." I love that. So here's where I'm at on Daki. And this may be unpopular with Star Wars people out there, but this is what it is to be a fan. You say what you think, and that's just kind of how it goes. I think that the like prequel era Jedi, like Yoda, they kind of get trashed a lot for they're being too inflexible, and they're like, "Oh, if they just would have let Anakin date Padme, it all would have been fine."
Yeah.
They kind of take it on the chin because obviously things went wrong, and Anakin turned into Darth Vader, and that's bad. But I kind of think like Daki represents what is actually good about the Jedi Order. And there are some things I think that could be restrictive or can be bad. But you already highlighted it. And this really stood out to me too. But when he said, like, "No, we don't steal from that fruit vendor," I think that's good. That's the right thing to be doing. So I kind of get where those Jedi are coming from, like the lack of attachment and things like that. It's almost like they've taken their life and they have put their life towards a bigger purpose. And when you get rid of yourself, you're serving something else. And so you're not worried about your house and your stuff. And if you take that all the way out, even your relationships, that's hard to do. But I respect that about Daki. Like, I see where he's coming from. I do kind of like that about him.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hit Captain Lawson, our handsome guy. Oh.
I wouldn't call him ugly, but I wouldn't call him handsome.
I don't want you
He's
thinking
like,
that 50-year-old animated men are handsome anyway, so good.
he's like mid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our mid Captain
Solid
Lawson.
mid.
He also seems kind of complicated to me. So what is it about him that you see so far?
I don't really think I've seen enough of him to have like a full like view on like what he's like. Props for not liking the Empire. We do like that. Because I don't like the Empire either, so like, yeah.
Okay, props to him.
Yep.
So I'm kind of reading Captain Lawson he's also seems kind of complicated to me because he clearly has like, he's lived a former life. He hasn't been a cop the whole time. He's got that connection with that chick in the casino that can like get him off world. He has these kind of like underworld sort of connections. And I think that's really interesting to have that be the person who's helping to uphold the law, because you can see situations where Captain Lawson would be up against it and it's like the law versus what's right. And I think Lawson would pick what's right, even though his personal life is kind of messy. Like he and his wife are not together right now. He's like trying to be a cop and a dad. And I think that's kind of a complicated thing. So I'll be honest, so far through 6 episodes, he's my least favorite like plot of the Maul Shadow Lord show so far. But I do think it's important that it's there because it kind of like humanizes the whole thing. And you do like the son and they're in danger sometimes. So you do kind of need that element. But I like the Devon, Daki, Maul stuff way more than the Lawson stuff.
Yeah. I feel like he's kind of like those filler episodes that are like you need them for the plot, but they're just like so not entertaining. And you're just like, oh.
He's the pawn. He's not the knight. He's not the bishop. He's not the big pieces. But you have to have him.
Yeah, like you need him for the plot, but then again at the same time it's like,
Wow, you heard it here first. Madeline out on Captain Lawson. What about the son? Like we want to protect him, right?
Yeah, he's good. He's good. I like him.
Okay.
I like the fact that he like just kind of let the Jedi into his house, even though he didn't even know them.
Yeah, that speaks well of him, I think.
Yeah.
How about 2 boots? Do you like the boots? Should he lose the boots? That Empire guy certainly does not like the boots.
Get rid of those boots. They're not the standard. Like, dang, okay. I love him. He kind of reminds me of the droid from Rogue One. What's his name?
Oh, yes, K2SO?
Yep. He kind of reminds me of him, but like a nicer version.
Okay.
Not like the sassy
Well, it must be a strike against Lawson for you that he powered down 2 boots without 2 boots' permission.
Like, what are we doing here?
Excuse me,
like,
sir.
What do you mean? He just kind of was like, bloop. No more power for you. Just switch. Like, sir.
All right, Madeline. So give us one of the themes of this show that has really like captured your attention, stood out to you, and tell us kind of like how are you seeing the theme play out in the show?
So I'm gonna kind of just do one of the themes that may not be as obvious, but it was like kind of stood out to me.
Okay.
I think like for lack of a better word, weak versus strong. It was just like the way that Maul just like casually wiped out the crime syndicates, and he's like up above commanding like all these people. It's like the Mandalorians, the crime bosses, and he's just like big and strong and powerful and has all this power over all these people. And also with the Empire just showing up on Janix and taking over. So
that's really good. So that's where you see the power. Where do you see the weak playing in then?
The weak is like the underworld bros that just got sliced up. And I feel like with the Empire versus Janix, I feel like it's kind of like the civilians on the planet, that they're like the weak ones. They're in like need of protection. They're just
kind of smells like Andor a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
With the Gorm, yeah.
galaxy's watching.
Where do what about Daki, Master Daki, and Devon? Where do they play in on the weak strong? Because it's weird, right? They've got these powers, they
Yeah.
are strong, but it's
Yeah.
almost like they're choosing to be weak.
I feel like they are weak and they are strong. I feel like they're choosing to be a little more on the weak side, to protect themselves, so they don't just like show the whole planet like, "Hey, we're Jedi." Like, "Hey guys."
Now, it wouldn't be to show if they didn't have to show themselves as Jedi at some point, right?
Yeah, they had to eventually, but they were trying to keep a low profile, so they're not just like, "Yeah, we're Jedi. Just come send all the Inquisitors after us."
Yeah, Madeline, I love the weak versus strong. I didn't have that written down. I love that you pulled that out. I think that's a great theme. I'm gonna hit on revenge, which maybe this is cheating because the first episode is literally titled "The Dark Revenge," right?
Yeah.
So it's right there. But I really think that's the animating principle behind Maul. Like, those are all of his actions. Why is he after the underboss, the bad guy bros? It's because they have betrayed him, right? That's why he's mad at them. Why is he trying to get back at the Empire? Because the Empire let him get sliced up by Obi-Wan and kicked down the shaft. And for Maul's life, it's so interesting because obviously we know what's going to happen at the end of Maul's life. Maul's going to die at the hands of Obi-Wan Kenobi, trying to right a wrong that he feels like he's trying to take revenge on Obi-Wan. It's like all this stuff and all this sophistication and all this intellect that we're seeing from Maul, all of this kind of stuff is just like twisted and wrapped up in this little revenge wrapper, and it continually hurts Maul and makes his life worse. But it's like he's so, it's like he's tied to it. He can't get away from the revenge angle.
Yeah. And he 100% has reason to take revenge on people because he's been cut in half. He watched his brother die.
Savage Opress.
Oh, rest in peace, Savage. Hate those episodes, but rest in peace. I'm pretty sure he begged Palpatine to kill him so he wouldn't have to live with everything, and Palpatine's just like, nah.
No.
Yeah. So
okay,
he has reason.
He has reasons, but it also ends up costing him his life.
Yeah.
Stuff like if he'd be able to walk away from these things, there would be a different Maul. I think there's something to him, but he gets so twisted up by this. Do you have another theme that you were able to pull out or that you really noticed from the show?
I feel like there was a lot of, especially with Devon and Daki, there was a lot of survival and just the fight to stay out of the way and try to stay alive, try to keep going, try to make it to another day. There was just they kind of remind me of Tom and Jerry, honestly. They're the little mouse, and everyone else who's trying to hurt them is chasing after them, and they barely make it to the mouse hole. They just barely get away, just barely survive, but they still do manage to survive. So
I also think that survival is a very interesting theme. And again, this is where I think the difference between what Master Daki has lived through and what Devon has lived through really comes to the front of these episodes. Because for Master Daki, he's surviving knowing that he had this past life, knowing the bad things that have happened to him.
Yeah.
And I feel like Devon, she's not surviving. That's her whole life. That's all she's known. And so I feel like when you have been in survival mode for so long, that can turn into desperation. And the reason why I think that Maul is kind of making some inroads with Devon in some of these conversations is because she's desperate to stop living this life. And Master Daki doesn't really give her answers as to how they're going to stop living the life. And Maul does. Maul's like, look, just take the power that's inside of you and just live. Don't be disrespected. Don't be pushed to the side. Don't be Jerry and just barely make it into the mouse hole. Turn into Tom and dominate this because you really can. So yeah. I think that's a pivotal theme in the show of survival. And I think Maul is smart. I don't want to be rooting for Maul, but I think Maul is smart to use that. He sees that in Devon. He's pulling out that kind of survival sort of stuff. Okay, Mads, you're doing awesome with this. Are there any more themes that you saw? I have one more if you don't have any.
Mainly
that
those
we can talk
two.
about. Okay, so I want to talk about the theme of indoctrination. because Maul really in fact he just used that term when he's talking with Devon. And I also, can I just say this real quick, and then you tell me how you feel about these. I love a bad guy good guy conversation when the bad guy's like trying to convince him and like all the different ways that they try to get in. Do you like that? Because those conversations have happened approximately 6,745,000,000 times in Star Wars, or do you get tired of the fact that those conversations happen?
No, I really like them because you're just kind of watching like, ooh, is the good guy gonna fall for it, or are they just gonna like, nah, and just like beat them?
Mads, I think you're kind of rooting for Maul here.
Maybe a little. Maybe maybe a little.
The anti-hero. Okay.
I kind of feel bad for him because, like,
do you?
Yeah.
Was it they getting the slice in half? That was it.
Yeah, and then also the spider legs, and then
losing his brother. He's had a hard time.
And just everything. Yeah, I feel bad for him.
But he tried to kill Obi-Wan.
But Obi-Wan killed him twice. like 2 times.
Twice. Okay. Now you turned Maul into Jesus. That's kind of weird. Here's the thing with the indoctrination. And I think that you see this in a lot of stories, and you can trace this back through a bunch of stories throughout history. I think you can trace this all the way back. You know what Maul and Devon remind me of a little bit is Eve with the snake. Right? All the way back from the very first story in the Christian Bible, Eve with the snake. The snake's like, no. It's literally tempting her with, no, your life will be different. Your life will be powerful. Your life will be better. And Eve, of course, in the biblical account gives in. We are yet to see if Devon is going to give in or not. But like, I think that indoctrination that Maul is talking about, like, this is the only way you've ever been taught. This is the only life you've ever been lived. And part of Devon is like, I am so tired of living like this, you know?
Mm-hmm. And you can definitely, like, see it on her face whenever she's like, no, I'll never join you. But you can, like, see on her face, she's kind of pondering it. She's like,
okay, but if you have really good food, I might join you, actually.
Ooh. You know,
if they have some Thai food, you're in. You're going to the dark side.
I am. See you guys. I'm going to the dark side. Goodbye.
Mads, what has been your favorite action set piece? Because I think the show has done a pretty good job of they've paced it well, right? It starts with a heist, and then there's a fight, and then they've really brought people up and down at the action. I think they've done a good job, right? Fight. So, what's been your favorite action piece so far?
So, honestly, I gotta say, whenever Devon and Maul were just chilling in that room, and then the lights go off, and she has his lightsaber to try and find her way out, and he's like,
horror movie vibes right there.
Yeah, yeah. He's literally just like terrorizing this poor child, and it's honestly a little scary. Like, I got a little scared. I was like, oh, okay. But just like, the way his word, like the way you could tell his words were really affecting her, and like the way his voice was just like echoing through the room was very well done.
It's like she was trying to get away from him physically, like emotionally, like in the Force, like all those things were all happening at the same time. And so it was so much more than her just going around with a red flashlight trying to get out. There's so much that she was trying to escape in that moment. Well, you know, she was using it like your iPhone in the middle of the night so you can get up and go to the bathroom. Okay, I love that scene. I thought that scene was great. My favorite action scene, I don't even necessarily think this was the best action scene. I think some of the best stuff was like the Master Daki Maul fight was really good. That whole scene that they did there, that raid was really good. My favorite one, though, is when Devon is fighting the Inquisitor, Green Gas Bag Maruk. You know, do you know why I'm calling him Green Gas Bag?
Yep.
Okay.
It like just dawned on me. Yeah.
Ahsoka slices him up, that boy.
Yep. He just explodes.
I like that she is, because you're like, oh no, she can't take this guy. Because those Inquisitors, they have those crazy helicopter lightsabers, and that just seems like not fair to me.
Like, they turn it on, you think, okay, it's just a normal lightsaber, and then like something else happens and it starts spinning. It's like, what's going on here?
What is going on here?
What is happening?
So you already kind of feel like, oh my gosh, she doesn't really know who she is. She has no chance of beating this guy. And she has to protect Lawson's son. Like, she's responsible for him, right? Daki said, no, she'll be fine. So I really like that kind of like, she's the underdog and Maruk Gas Guy is coming after her. But then what I really like about it is Maul shows up. And this is so weird because you have a blue and red lightsaber against a red lightsaber, and that is not usually what you see. So you have Maul, like you almost feel like in this show, Maul is changing sides to kind of be the good guy in that moment because we like Devon and we want her to be protected. So I just really feel like they've done a good job at making everything in the show complicated, and that like really stood out to me as an action piece. This is so complicated. Maul's bad, but I want him to beat Maruk right now. I thought that was really good. What do you think about that one?
That also kind of reminded me of, again, whenever he was kind of being nicer to Devon, he was like a little bit of the softer side. That's kind of what that reminded me of too. Because he like stepped into the fight and essentially saved her life, just like out of nowhere.
Not only her, saved the kid too, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is gonna be crazy to say out loud. Maul kind of did a good deed there.
He did.
I think he had twisted reasons for what, you know what I mean? He had twisted reasons for wanting to do it, but he kind of did something good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That Lawson's poor kid was just sitting back there behind those crates like, what is even happening right now?
Cooked. I don't think he's ever seen a Jedi in his life, let alone Maul and the Inquisitor.
Deep fried. He's like, what is happening? Why is this even real? Like,
who am I? Where am I? What is this?
What year is it? What day is it? Like, what?
I just came from practice. I want to play ball, man. Yeah. All right, let's close this out, Madeline. And listeners, again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been awesome on our first episode here. Support us if you can, please. Mads, let's hear 2 prediction. You know what? Let's rotate back and forth. You go first and I'll go and then we'll rotate. Okay, give us a prediction. Look into that crystal ball of yours.
Okay.
Tell us what you think's going to happen towards the end of this show.
I think Daki's going to die, honestly. They've just been foreshadowing it so many times. I think he's cooked.
That is my first prediction too. I also think that Daki is going to die. I think specifically he is going to die by the Empire. And that's going to be a real crisis moment for Devon to be like, oh, shoot, Maul is right. The Empire is bad, right? So we're going to like really push her as far as we can push her. It's not just going to be her life. It's going to be her master now. That's a hard thing for a Jedi to deal with.
Yeah. And also it wouldn't be Star Wars if they didn't kill off a character that we're all very like attached to.
Yeah, you got to have your Qui-Gon death, you know?
Every single show, almost every single
movie or
trilogy of movies.
Oh, sure.
Not necessarily every movie, but pretty close. They just always kill off a character that we all love, and it's like, why? Why?
All right, so we both think that Daki is toast. Give us your second prediction.
Oh, yeah. And actually, my second one kind of goes with my first one. I do think that Daki is going to die to the hands of the Inquisitor, and then I think Maul's going to step in and kill the Inquisitor, and potentially...
Can Maul kill Maruk? Because Ahsoka's going to.
Oh, yeah.
But I
forgot about that.
I think that Maul could step in and like protect Devon again, maybe.
Yeah, step in and protect her, and then like drive him, the Inquisitor and the Empire forces like off Janix for good, and then just be like, "Told you."
Hey, girl, you want to join my team?
It's like, hey, your master's dead now. I can be your new one.
Hey, I could be your new one. All right. Okay, Madeline, this second prediction of mine is absolutely wild and completely out of left field. Are you ready?
Oh, boy. Okay.
I think that the Inquisitor and the Emperor are going to call for reinforcements. I think we're going to get a Maul-Darth Vader duel.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my. That would be wild, wouldn't it?
That would be crazy.
I guess money's on Darth in that instance?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Listeners, we will see. So we will be coming to you next Tuesday night around the same time, and we'll be reviewing episodes 7 and 8. And then the next Tuesday, we'll be doing episodes 9 and 10. And we may do, after that, some kind of wrap-up show or maybe get ready for Mandalorian and Grogu. But listeners, thanks so much for joining us. This is going to bring this transmission to an end. Thanks for hanging out with us in the far reaches of the galaxy. If you enjoyed our take on the Shadow Lord, be sure to subscribe and join us for our next jump through hyperspace. Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon. And as always, may the Force be with you.